Hey everyone, this is Dr. George Bernbach. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited to see you today. I'm excited to talk to you. And when we're looking at the work we are doing, it is really important to understand what it is we actually do. And this is a short training. Well, all of these are 10 minutes or so, but I have a checklist for you as the marketer. I've got a checklist for you. And you can see down in the description what this is about. It's just talking about our brand, and when we talk about our brand, we need to know in one sentence what your clinic does. And one of my favorites that I wrote is, we help people find the cause of their recurring symptoms without drugs or surgery so they can lead amazing lives, healthy lives. I'm going to say that again. We help people find the cause of their recurring symptoms without drugs or surgery so that they can lead amazing, healthy lives. Why? We help people find the cause of recurring symptoms is what they're frustrated by the time they call you. It's driving me crazy. I can't get rid of these headaches, this back pain, this knee pain. I need to find some way to get rid of it. The first thing that we tell them is we help people find the cause of their recurring symptoms. Now, without drugs or surgery is our qualifier. We could say with chiropractic care, right? But without drugs or surgery hits what they're thinking of. I want a natural way to get rid of this. I don't want to be on a prescription bottle or have to go to a medical surgeon. And then I give them the transformation so that they can have what? What do they want? Well, if they have headaches, they don't want headaches. If they have back pain, they don't want back pain. Right? The opposite of the frustration. But the opposite of recurring symptoms is not having recurring symptoms. But what does that lead to? If I was talking to someone in front of me and they said, I've got all these symptoms that just keep coming back, I'd say, that's terrible. I want you to take a look at this F3 exam. It helps people with recurring symptoms get rid of those recurring symptoms. You see, that's pretty straightforward. But on a poster, on a wall, on a t-shirt, I want to go a little bit bigger and broader. To catch more fish, I use a bigger net, right? So we help people find the cause of their recurring symptoms without drugs or surgery. Well, that's what I want. Great. So that they can lead amazing, healthy lives. Well, that's what I'd like. I'd like an amazing, healthy life. It's a really simple statement that kind of captures people. So I want to talk to you today, my friends, about what's called brand perception. Brand perception. Okay? Earlier this year, I was on a Zoom room with a lot of friends, and my role was to help them think about messaging and branding of their practices and their other small businesses. And at one point, on the second day, I was interviewed by the group about what I do and the ways that I debug problems. And one of the questions was, hey, define what you mean by a brand. And with that question, that interviewer was making the point that the brand is bigger than a logo. The brand is bigger than a profession or colors. So it shouldn't be that unusual of a concept or a question, right? Because most of the time you can give a stock answer to a question by an interviewer, right? You could quote Scott Bedbury. Bedbury is an author and brand strategist who did Nike and Starbucks, right? He's the one who figured out this is what Nike is, just do it. And Starbucks, the third place. You have work, you have home, you have the third place, which was Starbucks. And Bedbury defined a brand as a collection of perceptions in a consumer's mind, right? He said, this is what people are thinking about, and that becomes your brand. Well, I still think this is a great way to think about your brand. However, the way those perceptions form changes with time. And I have to argue that those points of perception are more sophisticated now than they were 5 years ago. And they're significantly more sophisticated now than they were prior to the internet, right? Back in the 80s and the early 90s, we saw the world completely different, right? Everything was brick and mortar and isolation based, and you had to get on a plane to go learn something. Now it's very different. People now are more savvy and more cynical than they were before because they have too much information to juggle and dodge. So I'm going to break it into 4 pieces. When we're creating your practice brand, it is almost impossible to unravel your practice from your brand. They're really latched up together. But bias is the first one. Bias is, what do you believe? Right or wrong, that thinking shows the conflated nature of brand in relation to an organization. The two are directly connected. Your stand is your brand. You see, what you say is your brand. The way you act is your brand. What you believe is your brand. Your core philosophical bias sits at the core of an authentic brand experience, right? As Misty would say, we put people before paperwork. That is a fantastic bias of a value. When you stand behind your values, people know what to expect. So what your philosophy is part of your brand. Then how you operate, or your model. Whether you're an instrument adjusting, a manual adjusting, a blend of the two. You know, you believe in rehab, or you believe in just adjust them and send them on their way. You see? Number 2 is model, how you operate. So we have bias, what you believe. Model, how you do what you do, how you operate. You see? Your brand can directly reflect your model for better brand perception. This is what we do and why. Okay? Then we have your product. Now, in our profession, it's chiropractic. What you sell is chiropractic. However, what you're actually selling is the outcome that comes from chiropractic. Chiropractic is a tool that you utilize in alignment with your philosophy and your model to get a result. So you have to be very clear on what you're selling, and that's why we spend so much time, right, on our philosophy and our transformation statements, because your philosophical drive will create what product you're going for there, right? Chiropractic and the way we create it is thoughtful, right? But we have to look at what is the lasting effect of chiropractic in that patient's life. That's our product, you see? The thing you create that lasts over a period of time is what makes you matter, right? That's what makes you matter. And then finally, number 4 is behavior. How do you act in alignment with everything else? So it's one thing to promote your values. It's another thing to be seeing, living your values. Just like chiropractic reflects the underlying biases of your organization and your practice, so does the behavior of the brand and its leadership. And they're likely connected, you see? People will see your behavior, and it will show up in the more literal aspects of the expression of your brand. It shows up in your colors, your tone of voice, your emotions, the way you receive and disseminate communication, your advertising channels. Remember, marketing is not about sales. Marketing is about connection. And people don't want to connect with people who are behaving badly. They may find it intriguing, they may find it entertaining, but they don't want to connect with that. Potential patients are savvy. They understand when you're manipulating them. They may go along with it if they see the need for the outcome of it, but they're not going to feel good about it, and they're not going to be a long-term person in your practice. To some degree, they will always understand what you're doing and how you're tracking them through this process, you see? But how you act is the most direct reflection of your brand. So here are some questions to think about when we talk about branding. And I want you to think about these for yourself. Think about these for the practice. Think about this for the practice leadership. What are some of the stated biases? What are some of the stated beliefs of your company? And what are some of the things that we really believe in we haven't stated? You see, that's a 2-for-1 question. What are the things we say we believe in? What are some of the things we believe in we may not have promoted yet? Number two, what are the consequences of your model? Doing things this way leads to a real result that lasts. This is that result. Okay? What's your philosophy around chiropractic? And then, are you and everyone who works with you acting in reflection of that brand? Are you all having conversations, bringing in positive energy, in alignment with that brand? Those are 4 points of building a brand inside of a clinic. And I think if you focus on these, you're going to find a really nice solution to your new patient problems, to your retention problems, and your practice will grow in alignment with your vision. Whether it's a marketing vision or a growth vision or a retention vision. Okay? Take that. Let me know what you think.